Welcome to the AI Your Business podcast. I'm Kim Fernandez, your host and passionate guide to all things AI for small business owners, coaches, consultants, and service-based entrepreneurs. I'm an AI consultant and launch strategist for online experts, and I love supporting purpose-driven entrepreneurs to elevate their life-first business. When I'm not helping business owners like you design custom AI to wow your clients, improve your operations, marketing or launches, I'm likely out walking by the water, singing in the kitchen, or spoiling a fur baby that I'm minding in my home in beautiful regional New South Wales, Australia. If you're looking to balance AI adoption with a business that's focused on people and connections, whether you're tech savvy or if you're AI curious, this podcast is for you. We'll unpack how to use artificial intelligence in practical, profitable ways, from productivity and marketing to transforming your client results and user experience. We'll dive into real-world examples, expert interviews, and actionable insights to help you level up with AI. We're here to demystify the tech, share proven strategies, real-world stories, and discover practical, creative AI applications for business. So let's dive in. Hope Livonne Trory, founder of Hopeworks Design, helps mission-driven, women-led professional service firms attract leads, amplify their brands, and achieve their goals. And with a background in architecture and a focus on architects, engineers, and construction businesses, Hope blends industry insight with marketing expertise to simplify complex strategies. A sought-after speaker, regularly speaking for the Novo Business Education Series and Silver Lining Small Business Community, Hope is known for her practical advice and approachable teaching style, empowering her business owners to grow with clarity and confidence. Welcome to the show, Hope.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy to be here.
Awesome. Now, Hope, you started in architecture and you've ended up knee-deep in SEO strategies. So how did you go from designing buildings to designing marketing and SEO strategy?
Yeah, that was quite the pivot. I was dead set on becoming an architect ever since I was small, and was very single-minded. Went to architecture school, specifically went to one that gave me a professional degree so I could start working right away and didn't have to go to grad school unless I wanted to. And was working in a firm while I was in school. So I was interning on my breaks and started working for that firm after I graduated. And then the economy just went crazy. So the recession hit really hard and projects dried up. And my firm was like, okay, we're going to hold things together as long as we can. But if this continues, we will need to do layoffs. And I was one of those. So the interesting thing is that all along I was doing little bits of marketing. So I did take some courses while I was still in school, some elective courses within design and really like basic entry-level marketing, just because I was interested. And then while I was working, I was building websites and creating marketing campaigns for family and friends friends of friends as a hobby. So one day I was kind of like, oh, I need to find a job, but it's so hard to find a job in a recession. And then I thought, wait a second, people keep asking me to help them with their marketing or to build a website or, things like that. I'm like, I should charge. So, so I started charging. The funny thing is that while I was doing all this, in my mind, it was temporary. It was like, I'm just going to do this right now. Then I'll go back to architecture, being an architect, get licensed, all that stuff. Haven't gone back still. So I just decided, you know what? I think this is my path.
Yeah, I think it's a little more than knee deep by now.
Yeah.
Definitely, especially if you're teaching others. So just in terms of, the show's called AI Your Business. So could you tell me about the first time you tried AI? And what was it like? Was it love at first sight or was it like a bad first date?
Oh, no, it was love at first sight. I was all about it, about. So right around when ChatGPT was still invite only, like you had to kind of sign up and get on the list and eventually you got access. That was when I was playing around with it. Up until, well, around that part, because I had to wait a little bit before I had access to ChatGPT. But before that, there was a company, they're not in business anymore. But if you know the company Copy AI, they were a very close competitor. It did basically the same thing. So I was using that, playing around with that, using it in my marketing, creating social messages and things like that with it. It wasn't that exciting, to be honest. The language model wasn't that sophisticated, but it was still fun. And it gave me possibilities. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like I can see where this is going. And then when I got access to ChatGPT, oh man, the gloves were off. I was just diving in.
That's great. So I would have to ask, it would seem like you're the early adopter at home when it comes to AI.
Yes, very much so.
So what's the mood in the household with AI? Do you find that, people in your world just really get it, like your friends, your family?
No.
No?
No. I try to share my enthusiasm, but it hasn't quite hit home to enough people around me. So my husband, he uses it and thinks it's interesting, but doesn't really see the day-to-day applications. Even though I'm using it, I'm like, look what I just did. Oh, I planned our whole vacation, or look what I just did, So he's not completely sold, but he sees the potential. And then some cousins and other friends, they think it's a cool thing, but they don't see it as beyond like a gimmicky kind of
With a
thing.
gadget. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd have to say in our household, we are both AI nerds. And quite often, one of us will, burst out of our office and go into the other person's room and say, well, what took a week just took an afternoon. I can't believe it. Check this out.
I love
what
it.
I did. There's a lot of those moments in our house. So if you ever need to share them, you can just share them with us.
Love it.
Some excitement. So now fast forward, how much of your day-to-day now involves AI? And if your virtual office was on fire, what's the one AI tool you would grab?
Oh, what a difficult question. I mean, AI all day, every day. Like, I'm trying to think of something that I don't use AI for in some capacity, and I'm struggling. But if everything's on fire and I had to take one AI tool, it would be my bestie. It would be ChatGPT, because I can do so much with that tool. So I'll be sad for the others, but I'm taking ChatGPT with me.
Don't make me choose. They're all my children. Let's get down to SEO. So in my mind, SEO is a little bit like kale. Like everybody knows they need it, but no one knows what to do with it. So when it comes to SEO, how do you make it more digestible for business owners? And should we even bother? Do we leave it to the experts? I mean, when it comes to AI searches and uses, keyword optimization seems to be one of the most common uses. But what's your take on it?
Yeah, I mean, I do think if you own a business, if you are a freelancer, if you sell services or products in any capacity, you should have some understanding of SEO and how to apply it. You do not need to go all in and become a certified expert to see results, but you should understand what it is and at least the basics of how to optimize your website. It can go a long way for you, right? And luckily, there's AI to help.
There is.
So
okay, so
oh, sorry. I was just going to say, while there's always a place for experts, you can do so much as a non-expert with the help of AI that I think it makes it a little more approachable, less intimidating now.
So what's a hack that, we can use? Let's say, I'm a business owner. I only have 20 minutes and limited patience. What's something that I can do that's a really simple hack that's going to help me, find those keywords or improve that sort of finding my content online so it ranks?
Ooh, okay. Two things, because it really depends on where you're starting. If you feel that you are getting, like, you don't have to feel it, you can look at your analytics, which of course you should have on your website. If you are not getting traffic, or you are getting traffic, but you can see that it's not coming from the keywords you would like it to come from, like maybe they're keywords that have nothing to do with your industry or your business, and you're like, what's happening? So in that case, you want to, you can use ChatGPT for this. You can use other AI tools that have access to the internet, but just start up a chat, put in your web address, ask it to analyze your website, and really like make sure it understands. Because sometimes, especially I found this happening more often in Perplexity, which is very sad because I used to love Perplexity. But you want to make sure it's actually going to your website and pulling information from that and not making it up. So ask it to analyze your website, tell you all about the services, who your ideal clients are. Just ask it a series of questions to make sure it understands what you do. And if you've been using the tool, it will have learned a lot anyway from working with you. And then ask it to find content gaps or areas of misalignment between your website copy and your ideal audience. And it can give you really great ideas. It's not going to be super, super like laser focused in the specificity, because you need to kind of add on to get that, but it's going to be a great place to start. And it's a really simple, easy prompt, right? So that's one thing, because it's going to give you some suggestions like, hey, like, your ideal audience has these pain points and your website is not clearly speaking to them. Here's some suggestions. Or it'll say, well, your meta data isn't set up, or it's missing, or it's not saying anything related to what you do. So it can give you some clues, right? And it's just a really good place to start. And it's something you can either start or do within, say, 20 minutes to a half an hour. Like, at least make notes of things you need to look into. Some of those suggestions could be things you can do like in the moment. And the other thing you can try is, if you know that you have not actually done any type of optimization work, then you can start with some basic keyword research. So you really need to have a strong idea about who your target audience are, like who these people are, what their needs are, how you serve them, what they're looking for. Like, you need to kind of have a solid idea of that. If you're not solid, you can use AI tools to help you get there, right? And so work with AI tools to kind of have a conversation about, refining like who your audience is, like who comprises your audience, what their desires are, in a very explicit way. So it's not Mary, who is in her 50s and likes to knit. Like, that's a good start, but what is she actually typing into Google? What's actually like would make her feel a sense of urgency to seek out the services or products that you provide, right? And you can work that out with AI. And once you have that, you can say, okay, great, I have a really clear understanding of my audience and what their needs are and what they're actually searching for versus what I'm offering. So what keywords do I need? So you go back to AI and you're like, okay, great. With all of this in consideration, list me 50 keyword options, and I like to be really specific. So there's something called intention or intent, keyword intent, search intent. And that's really key, because you can delineate how you're optimizing your website based on your buyer intent or search intent. So intent just means there's going to be someone that's just looking for knowledge. Maybe they want to DIY it, or maybe they're just at the very beginnings of being problem aware. So they're just searching for general information. That's a different person than someone that's like, I know what's wrong. I think I know what the solution, I need to find someone to provide the solution. Like that's a whole different person, different mindset, right? So they're going to be searching for different things because they have different intents. And AI is really, really good at deciphering what intents are. So you can say, hey, give me 50 keywords that are buyer intent keywords around a particular topic. And it will spit out this huge list. And you can take that list and refine it to, just to kind of like iterate and keep refining and refining it with the help of AI until you come up with like maybe 20 to 25 solid buyer intent keywords. And AI in this moment is not great at coming up with like the actual data, like how popular these keywords are in terms of like there's 50 million searches a year or something like that. It will make up data if you ask for it. So,
Okay.
but the thing is, it's not as key anymore. You can use other tools like SEMrush, Ahrefs, and Moz, and I don't know, there's tons of tools where you can put in some keywords and it'll tell you the search statistics, like 50 people searched per month for this keyword, that sort of thing. And it's still good to do. However, that has less importance versus what's called a topical map. So you've got these buyer intent keywords, and you're like, okay, I already have some content on my site that incorporates these keywords, is optimized for these keywords. Now you know, well, here's all these other keywords I don't have any content for. So now you know you need to create some content for it, right? And then the cool thing is that at least with the way AI tools tend to help you with keyword research, you cover a broad range of topics. And then how popular or how difficult a keyword is, I'm not saying it's not important at all. I'll have SEO people like burning down my door for saying something like that. But because of the changes in search, like regular search, Google search, and also these new AI search tools, the keyword popularity is just not as important. It's more important that you cover enough of your topic. So if you find your list of buyer intent keywords, realize, okay, I've got some content that's optimized for this, maybe it can be improved, but there's all these other keywords I have nothing for on my site. Well, okay, now you make a plan to like create content for these keywords and optimize it well for those keywords, because when someone's searching for them, the page that you've optimized for a specific keyword will come up in search, but so will all the other related pages. And that's going to tell search like AI search engines and Google and Bing and all the legacy search engines. It's going to tell them that, oh, this website is comprehensive on this topic. We should rank these pages higher. And that's what you want. So,
Right.
like and I feel like that's a more of a layperson's understanding. It's like, okay, if I have enough content on a particular topic, I should be ranking higher. Now, of course, there's tons of other details involved, but basically that's the important thing to take away. And AI is great at that because it helps you find those keywords and key topics. It helps you realize where you have some content gaps. And then you can ask it to create a content plan based off of that for you. And then you can help it draft content for you. So
It's powerful, isn't it? Yeah. So what I'm doing, let's see if I can recap this from what you've shared so far. It's something that we've shared on the show previously. Is one of those foundational things about using AI for marketing that's brilliant. Is it's going to help you get a deeper understanding about how to make that uniquely identifiable brand. But one of the most core things is really understanding your audience and your ideal audience and who you're talking to. And what you're saying is that's a foundation of SEO. And that if you can take that piece and plug that in and then ask whatever AI tool you're using to analyze things like the metadata and what you already have, the content that you have and your offers versus your ideal audience, what's missing there. And then also you can take that to the next level and then have a look at the keyword research that you've discussed, the top keyword ideation, and then have a look at the content that you have and rank higher for those keywords, which is just powerful when you
Exactly.
think about, how long it would have taken for a layman, like
Mm.
myself, to demystify SEO and to be able to analyze that and create content. I
Oh
mean, I,
yeah.
I don't even know how much time that would have taken, and I think most people just wouldn't even try before
Yeah.
AI.
Exactly. Exactly. That's why it's so exciting to me because, I mean, as someone who's an expert in the topic, it still takes a lot of time and I know what I'm doing. So for someone else who's trying to learn as they go, it's going to take a long time. It may seem too intimidating to even attempt. Um, and then also you might have questions as you're doing it, like, well, I think I'm doing this right, but how would I know? When you have questions like that, you can chat with ChatGPT about it. It's like, hey, am I doing this right? Am I on the
Yeah.
right track?
Yeah, I don't
It's
want to sound like an ad for ChatGPT, but
I know
I have to agree with
any
you.
of
Like,
these
it's
chat
my
tools.
go-to. And one of the things I love about it is the ability to brainstorm and ideate and ask questions and get feedback.
Mhm.
I would just want to back up to your comment about perplexity. So, perplexity is a model where it calls on all the other language models to do search functions. But you mentioned that it's starting to hallucinate. It's making up its own content. What's happening there?
Yeah, so I believe there was a update recently because this was not the case, and I was a heavy user of Perplexity, so it's just been an odd thing to note. But it used to be you could plug in a really simple prompt like, "Hey, like, analyze the sentiment of this web page," or give me an analysis of the services offered on this web page, and then from that, ask it more questions. um, and now when I do that, it will pull up something else. Like, I've even tried it for my own website since I obviously know my own business inside and out,
Mhm.
and it got to the point where I was like, okay, what's going on here? I did something even simpler and I just said, "Hey, analyze the homepage of this website," gave my homepage URL, and then and I just asked it, "What services does this company provide?" And it started talking about some other company. So
Wow.
it was like, that's not correct. Try again." And then it went somewhere else. And I was like, okay. I had to ask it repeatedly, I think maybe 4 times, to say, use the content on this webpage before it finally gave me the correct answer. And that was
Mm,
never my experience before. So I think it might be something going on with the recent update.
mm,
I do know that for AI search engines like Perplexity, they're trying to, because they're in competition with Google, they're trying to um, pull more information, not just from the other language models, but from search, like from the internet. And maybe there's something, and this is all speculation, I have nothing to confirm this, but
mhm.
I'm wondering if some update to kind of make that more powerful is kind of, I don't know, out of balance, because I used to rely on its results fairly regularly. Like, I rarely got incorrect results, and now it seems to be on the regular.
Mhm.
um it's still
That's
good in terms of general search, but if you're being really specific, like, "Hey, look at this particular website," it seems to be a little off these days.
okay. Well, hopefully they fix that gremlin
Yeah.
in the next update. I have some diehard Perplexity fans in my circle, and I'm sure they'll be devastated to learn that if they might be the ones that are experiencing the same thing that you are too. So let's talk about some real life case studies. Do you have any examples that you can share where AI has really sort of ramped up the results for you or your clients in SEO?
Yes. Let me actually want to bring up a specific website. Okay, so this is a website for an architecture and interior design firm in the UK,
Beautiful
and they have.
images, by the way. For those of you listening, we do have the podcast on YouTube as well. If you want to come and have a look at what Hope is sharing, but we'll describe it for you as well.
Yeah. It's a gorgeous, very clean website. But what's really great about this is that um, the the website is a good balance of what you need to rank well, in terms of the amount of content, the amount of text. A lot of people within the design world like to rely a lot on images, where even though search engines are much better at um, images and audio and video, it's still text based. Like you still need text really to rank well. And this is
Mhm.
a good balance if you kind of go through the website. But where AI was really helpful was in, I'll stop sharing now, was in creating the content plan and really kind of dialing in some messaging gaps. So there was a little bit of a misalignment between who their actual ideal clients are and then the messaging that attracts those clients.
Mhm.
So, and I find that at least within the architecture world, that tends to be the case quite often. Um, and it's all about like, so it necessitates a branding exercise to kind of, go through the copy and make things to really express the personality of the firm and of the brand. However, that a lot of that's informed by a lot of audience research that AI tools helped us with. And then that formed the foundation for SEO, because that became okay. We see what the audience responds to. And then it's like, well, how can we make sure that we are capturing their search interest? So, what
Mhm.
are they typing into search? Because then we can use that data to create content for the website. And AI was super helpful with that, because what would normally be a very laborious process became really quick and really, really simple. Again, you don't need to be a expert to be able to do something similar. And it's really about, again, starting with the branding part. But once you've got that solid, um, then it's just about asking the right questions with some type of AI chat tool, whether it's ChatGPT or not, to really refine your topical maps, like the topics that your ideal audience is searching for, and then what keywords come from that. And again, taking into consideration the intent, like is someone just seeking knowledge? Are they looking to actually hire an architect or interior designer, because they're going to be searching for different things. And the really fun thing is that AI, when you're going through this process, you can also ask it, what pain points haven't we covered? Like you can always like just jump back into the brainstorming side of it to and pop out of that with like new fresh ideas. And I'm
Mhm.
not saying everything it tells you is what you need to go with, but the idea is that it's gonna quickly help you jog your brain and just think like, oh yeah, I didn't think about this, component, or I didn't think about this perspective. Okay, what can we do with that? And that's a process that is just that's just always happened. It just took a lot longer. You had to do focus groups and like surveys with your existing clients, and it took a while.
Yeah, it's huge, isn't it? And so with
Yeah.
that website, what were the results like a before and after with the website performance?
Oh man, this is great. So in the that was a new website that was created in 2023. Um I did not create the website. I worked purely on SEO.
Mhm.
And then once they realized that they weren't really getting the traffic that they thought, that's when SEO came to the conversation. So from 2023 to, it would have been June
June this year?
June of
24?
2024. Yeah, they had a 1,300% increase in traffic, which is Amaze balls. Amaze
1,300%.
balls. Yes. Oh, it's amazing. But it's not just any traffic, because it's like, okay, you can increase your traffic, but if it's not coming from the right places or the right people, it doesn't really matter. But the other thing is that we had, as much as I say that keyword, like the keyword popularity, the keyword data isn't as important when you're doing keyword research, it still is important to track, because you need metrics to just see where you are and how you're doing. And so from that point in 2023 to June of 2024, they are now on the first page of search results for 88 of their keywords.
Wow.
Which is phenomenal.
That is.
Yeah. And that is from, I mean, they do have it helps that they have some history. Like, they did have an older website. So there's history in the search engines that help you. Like, the older your URL is, the better. However, they also had a lot of content, but that content wasn't optimized. So it wasn't really helping them. But it goes to show that if you have valuable optimized content, that you can see huge results in terms of quality traffic going to your website. And that's what happened with them. And that would have been a much longer, much more laborious process without AI doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
That's amazing. That really is 1,300%. And so, in case you're wondering if SEO is valuable or important, I think that's a fantastic use case as to what it can do. And for me, like websites, some people look at the websites that they build and they think it's got to have all this animation, it's got to have all these features to it. And it's almost like an extension of a business card. But the primary function of a website is so that people can find you. It attracts leads and sales.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fact that you've really honed in on this buyer intent aspect means that you're drawing that much more traffic, not only to the website, as you said, but people who are intentionally looking for that service. That's really powerful.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's
Fantastic.
something that I recommend anyone that has any interest. You just want to kind of dabble a little bit, try things out. I mean, you cannot do SEO without first starting with the keyword research. So you have to start there.
What's
But
a simple prompt for that?
a simple prompt would be, it's okay, it's simple, but it's still a compounded prompt.
Okay.
So there's
Sounds well crafted to me.
a couple parts. And I'm thinking, because there's a few different options, I'm gonna say there's the alphabet soup method, but that might still take a little bit of time. Okay, yeah, we're gonna go, I'll give you two. So one is the top, middle, bottom of funnel prompt. And it's pretty simple. I mean, you want to still start off, you don't want to start a fresh chat, whichever chat tool, AI chat tool you're using. You don't want to start fresh. You want to have already done some prompting, like talked about your services, talked about your business, so that the tool understands like what you do, who you are, and your ideal audience, because those things need to start first, right? But you have that. And so you should type in a chat. You can say, give me 50 top, middle, and bottom of funnel keywords that I can rank for. So super simple prompt. Give me 50 top, middle, and bottom of funnel keywords that I can rank for. Because it's going to use the history, like it's going to use the previous chat history and anything else it knows about your business to help inform it of what keywords to suggest to you. But the key is the top, middle, and bottom of funnel keywords. So it will, give that to you in a chart. And so you can see, like, okay, the top of funnel keywords, they should be very different from the middle and the bottom. And what that's telling you is that informational keywords, informational, navigational, intent keywords, that's your top of funnel keywords. The bottom of funnel keywords are your buyer intent keywords. Middle of funnel can be a mix sometimes of both, but either way, if you are trying to focus on, okay, I want to create content that's optimized, but I want to target people that are much further down into the lead process or the sales process. Like I want the buyers, the potential buyers, then focus on middle and bottom related keywords, middle and bottom of the funnel keywords. You can also, if you want to like just prompt and then say, categorize these as information intent, commercial intent, buyer intent. And then, so that way you'll make sure that you're getting not only the top, middle, and bottom of funnel keywords, but you're also telling the AI like, hey, like I really want to focus on intent. So make sure that you categorize these by intent. And that's going to give you some really great ideas about the types of keywords you should maybe prioritize your content for. Like you should never only prioritize the buyer intent keywords. Like you still need to reach the people that are just looking. They're just at the top of the funnel, right? That's all about brand awareness. But if you need to prioritize content, and you need to prioritize your optimization and you're trying to DIY it, then focus more on the people that are closer to buying than the people that are just entering the cycle.
It's interesting that you mentioned that. So when we talk funnels, some people don't like the word funnels necessarily, but in marketing, it's essential to have a mapping of a customer journey, and it's the same in launch strategy. It's a marketing campaign essentially. So you go right from people who just become aware of your brand at what we call the top of the funnel, right through to the know, like, and trust factor before they're ready to buy from you. And I find sometimes a lot of people spin their wheels on Instagram, for example, because Instagram can be a combination of all of those top, middle, and bottom of funnel, but there is so much top of funnel content. And then you see, people who have really established online following and they're getting a lot of results and leads and sales, but it's not necessarily that they only have buyer intent content necessarily. It's that they have the right amount and the journey is quite clear for them. They've done that work in the background. So I love this prompt that you've given, and that it really addresses that customer journey aspect as well, so that you can understand what you have, what to prioritize, and what to look at later to make sure you've got a more holistic journey, so that when you're attracting those new leads, you're finding new audiences, not just people who are ready to buy right now. So you really, the funnel, it's a great visual. I love the word funnel for that reason. I'm a visual person. So people, coming into the top, learning about you, I think is really a great place for, you to play with all different concepts, but it's the wise bit at the bottom that obviously gets the results. That's awesome. Can I ask you a couple of quick rapid fire questions?
Of course.
All right. So first word that comes to mind when you think of SEO.
Way too many questions. Time.
Time. Excellent. What's your favorite thing about working with mission-driven, women-led businesses in a sentence?
Exciting.
And if architecture had an AI assistant back in the day when you were working specifically in that role, what would it have made easier?
So much. So much. Everything.
Give us some examples, just a couple of things.
Okay. Well, one, analysis, like building analysis, building data. Snap. When you are needing to when you need to map out the design process for a client in layman's terms, done. Creating presentations for the client, done. There's so many ways.
So many opportunities. Is this being done in the industry yet?
It is in bits and pieces. There's not like one overall like tool, but there's many like SaaS products that have incorporated AI, and there's lots of information trading and sharing about prompts that really work. It's like, oh, I want to use a chat tool to kind of help me work out a process guide or something like that. And I've definitely seen a lot of that happening, but there's not one central, like this is your AI for architects, everything tool.
Maybe if there are some SaaS tools that you can think of, maybe we can link them up in the show notes.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I can definitely send you some.
Fantastic. Hope you've brought a lot of brilliance today. I really appreciate you being on the show. And thanks so much for sharing your insights. I got a lot of value out of that. But for anyone who wants to learn more about SEO and what you do, where should they go?
They should check out my websites, hopeworksdesign.com. And actually, if you would like a free audit, you can do that too. It's hopeworksdesign.com /SEO audit. And I can send the link so you can have that in the notes.
We'll drop it in the notes. That's brilliant. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining the AI Your Business podcast.
Thank you for having me. Love being here.
Yes. Thanks for tuning in to the AI Your Business podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe and leave a review. Your feedback means the world and helps other business owners discover the power of AI. If you have real-world experiences to share about your results with AI, I'd love to hear from you. Head over to the guest application form on the website. While you're there, check out the show notes, extra resources, and more ways to connect. Let's keep it simple, stay curious, and make AI work for you. Until next time.